the first of at least 2 civil wars sparked off by the business plan are in full cry.
Yeah. I mean, is it a consequence of having been a tech journalist and seen all
a
this?
A little bit. More than being a tech journalist was being one of the ground floor code monkeys in a successful.com. But it has struck me, it's not my only interest, by the way. I've got a serious obsession with spies. But it struck me for a long time that one of the problems with science fiction is it doesn't take economics, the dismal science, seriously. And economics is fundamentally at the root of many human activities. And we should be taking a much closer look at this. And economics is a very odd science. You can't actually carry out easily controlled experiments. I see somebody sticking his finger up there, but we'll get to that later. There's an awful lot of ideological underpinnings to it which don't get questioned often enough. For example, the neoclassical economics, which has had a death grip on us for most of the history of economics, if you leave the Marxists out of it, has this strange orthodoxy that assumes that everybody is a rational actor who will always act in their own long-term best interests. This just is not true. It's a beautiful simplifying assumption. The shame is it doesn't apply to real human beings. Economics works beautifully for Martians, vast, cool intellects. So, it gives you a huge plethora of new ideas. One of the common questions that people ask authors at this sort of interview or discussion is, where do you get your ideas from? And the answer is, once you start asking the right question, the ideas throw themselves at you in sort of human waves. So,
about ideas-wise, one of the things I really enjoy about your book, Strikes a Chord with me, you seem to have a liking for, let's call it slightly baroque technology, sort of steam-powered spaceships, nuclear trains, my possible favourite, nuclear-powered plans, aircraft carriers, wing and ground effect, big aeroplanes flying overseas the size of aircraft carriers, launching things. Do you have a stack of sort of popular mechanics from the 50s somewhere that you...
Not currently, but I did binge on that sort of thing when I was younger, and yes, a weakness for baroque technology is one of my things. In classic example, there's a beautiful book I've got. Unfortunately, it's an abridged version of the original book, but it's by a fellow called Wilfred Beeching, and it's called Century of the Typewriter. It contains everything you ever wanted to know about 1930s era Italian hydraulically powered typewriters. And not exaggerating. The extent of human ingenuity into fields where nobody in their right mind would want to go in the first place is a constant source of amazement, entertainment, and inspiration. The Akranov plans are just part of it. Buried in, I think you're about to go into the Cold War, there's an even crazier technology.
Yes.
Project Pluto. To give you an idea of where no sane human being should go, Project Pluto was a cancelled nuclear weapons program from the 1960s. It was one the Americans came up with because during the 1950s they basically had 2 nuclear missile programs for dealing with the Soviet Union. One was ballistic missiles we're familiar with, and the other was long-range cruise missiles. When I say long-range, I mean intercontinental and supersonic and the size of airliners. In fact, the first stage of the Titan missile, if I remember correctly, was originally designed just as a booster rocket for a cruise missile the size of a Boeing 707. Now, the problem with cruise missiles is that they burn fuel like crazy. They have to push through the atmosphere. They lose a lot of it to air resistance. So, eventually somebody had the really great idea, why don't we build an atomic-powered cruise missile? And this was the genesis of the DSLAM project, or Project Pluto. Now, actually, it ran for several years, swallowed a budget of several $1 billion, and bits of it found their way into production. The guidance system of the Tom Hook cruise missile was first developed for DSLAM, because D-Slam was a rather